Hey guys, we're going to be doing videos a little bit differently until I get a new computer that maybe won't zoom in on everything so much. So today we're going to talk about transformations of functions, okay? This is just another little toolbox of graphs. We're going to be using some of these for our transformations today, so I just thought this would be a good reminder of how they all graph, okay? Here we're going to talk about the order of transformations. This is when a function involving more than one transformation can be graphed by performing the transformations in the following order. So first we could do horizontal shifts, then stretching and shrinking, reflecting, and then vertical shifting, okay? I also have this at the end of the lesson. I just wanted to put it at the front so that you guys wouldn't have to go all the way to the end to find it, okay? Alright, let's talk about vertical shifts to start with. So let f be a function and c a positive real number. So these are the rules that we follow when we're doing shifting. The graph of y equals f of x plus c is the graph of y equals f of x shifted c units vertically. So when the constant is separated from f of x by a plus sign, you vertically shift upward, okay? Then the graph y equals f of x minus c is the graph of y equals f of x shifted c units vertically downward. So if it's separated by a negative sign, you go down, okay? Some things to note about this is it was separated from x by a plus or a minus sign, then it's always a vertical shift, okay? So here, our plus sign, this is our original function, but then we move it up, okay? Here we have I said minus sign, I meant plus. Here we have a minus sign. This is our original function, and then we move it down, okay? The way I like to think about it is like it's a ladder, right? Here's our little rung, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it's separated from x by a plus sign, then you climb up the ladder. If c is separated from x by a minus sign, then you climb down the ladder. Okay? That's kind of just how my mind worked when I was in college algebra, how I like to think about it. Another important thing about vertical shifts they do not change the shape of the graph. Only the position. Okay? So the shape, as you can see, stays the exact same. It just either moves up or down. Okay? That's all it does. Alright. Alright, so let's do one. Here we can see that it's separated by a minus sign, so that means that we're going to go down, okay? So that means it's a vertical shift. So the x's don't change. Only the y's. Right, so we are not going to change its shape, we're just going to change its position. So we have f of x equals absolute value of x, and then the second one is f of x equals absolute value of x minus 4. So we could graph both of these. So if we have absolute value of x equals f of x, we know that that's going to, if we plug in a negative 4 here, absolute value of negative 4 gives us a positive 4, right? And we plug in absolute value of 0, well, that's going to give us 0. I'm just picking some points so we can see the graph there. Okay, and then another, let's do positive 4. Well, that is going to give us 4. So we could write these like negative 4, comma 4. Right? Ordered pairs. 0 and 0 and 4 and 4. So this is our f of x. The absolute value of x. Now, I'll change colors for this guy. If we have absolute value of x minus 4 equals f of x, we know that the x's don't change, but the y's do. So I'm going to write this down here. It's going to be f of x equals absolute value of x minus 4. So if the x's don't change, we could just copy these, right? Copy and paste these over here. So let's do that. Negative 4, 0, and 4. But we know that our y's are going to change. So we're going to take our y's and subtract 4 from them. So if we take 4 and we subtract 4, 0, well, minus 4, it's going to give us a negative. I just did that all wrong. That's a 0 right there. I was thinking about the next one when I wrote that one. 4 minus 4 is not minus 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Ha! 0. This is a negative 4. And this one, again, is going to be 0. Okay. So we could plug these numbers in, just like we did over here, if you wish. That's why I wrote this here, so you could do that work and make sure that this is right. So you could check me. Okay. So let's go ahead and graph this one. If we start at the origin, then we go over to negative 4 and go up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be our absolute value. So we just connect our little points. So this is our f of x equals absolute value of x. Okay. I did the same color. Now let's do this one. So we're going to 0 at negative 4. And at 0, we're negative 4. And at, sorry, negative 4 we're at 0, and at 4 we're at 0. And then now we can graph this. Okay, so you can see we just took our absolute value and we shifted him down by 4. So that's exactly what we did. Okay. So now let's talk about the horizontal shifts. So again, let f be a function and c be a positive number, okay? Like I said, those are the rules to play by this game. So the graph of y equals f of, now, this is the quantity, x plus c, is the graph of y equals f of x. Now, shifted to the left, c units, right? This is, it's a plus, but we go to the left. And the graph of y equals f of the quantity x minus c is the graph of f of x shifted to the right, c units. Now this goes against everything we would naturally think, right? It's kind of like completely not what we would think. So if it's not separated from x, I mean like it's inside parentheses. With x. That means that it's a horizontal shift, okay? And the shift works completely different than you would think. So it's different than counting on number line, okay? So just like with horizontal shifts, when it's inside the parentheses with X, you always do the opposite. If this says plus, you go to the left. If this says minus, you go to the right. Okay? So let's do one of these. So we're going to have the absolute value of X. So remember, always do opposite. When it's horizontal. Alright, so in here he is with X, right? So we know that he's going to be the opposite. So with X, so we know he's a horizontal shift. So what this tells us, so since it's going to be a horizontal shift, right, it's going to be going this way, our X's are going to change, but our Y's are going to stay the same. So our Y's but X's change. Okay. So let's work out this first one. So if we have the square root of X equals f of X, or Y, okay? So if we plug in 0, so if we get the square root of 0, well, that's going to equal 0, right? What about square root of 1? That's 1, right? Square root of 4, that equals 2. If you want to do a long one, we could do square root of 9. That's fine. Let's do that. That equals 3. So let's write these as ordered pairs. So 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, and 9, 3. Okay, so this is our original. F of X. Boy, I didn't leave as much room there, I'm sorry. Equals square root of X. So let's graph him. We're at the origin, right? 0, 0. Next one is over 1, up 1. And then we're at 4, 2. 9, 3. Connect our dots. Points, if you will. Okay. So that was our original function. Let's do our next one. Now we know that our x's change, so we could copy and paste our y's. So this is going to be our g of x equals square root of x plus 5. Since this says plus 5 and we know we're going to do the opposite, that means we're going to subtract 5. What's changing? Our x's from our x's. Okay. And this is our shift. So we could copy and paste our y's. So let's do that. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now let's subtract 5 from 0. Subtract 5 from 1. Try not to think ahead. Subtract 5 from 4. And subtract 5 from 9. So now we can graph these. So at negative 5, it's 0. At negative 4, 1. Negative 1, it's 2. And at 4, it is 3. And now we can just connect our points. And we can see it only shifted. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to get crooked. It shifted on the horizontal axis. Okay? Alright, let's talk about one more and then we'll be done with this section. Well, not this section, this video. Sorry. Okay, let's combine horizontal and vertical shifts. Okay, this is where we had talked about it the first when you have more than one. Okay. So first we're going to do x squared. So I'm not going to do like up here and work it out. We're just going to do it. I think you guys are good enough to do it in your head. So if we put in a 2, that's going to give us a 4, right? 2 squared, 4. We put in a 1, that's going to give us a 1. 0 squared, well, that's 0. Negative 1 squared, 1, right? And negative 2 squared is 4. So now we could graph x squared. So we're going to start at the origin. 1 and 1, negative 1 and 1. 2 and 4 and negative 2 and 4. Because we know we have symmetry, right? Alright, so now we're just going to draw it. Points, dots, whatever. Okay, there we go. That is our x squared. Now, let's do x squared plus 1. X plus 1 squared. Sorry. So this is in with our x, right? So we know that this means do opposite. So that makes it a horizontal shift. So with a horizontal shift, our y's don't change, but our x's do. So we could copy our y's over. Now we're going to change our x's. Cool. So we're actually subtracting, right? We're doing the opposite. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1, 0. 0 minus 1, well, negative 1. This would be negative 2, and then negative 3. This is where we're going to graph this portion, the whole. So negative 1, let's see, 0, negative 1, 1, 4, 0, negative 1, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, negative 2, 1, went out of order there for a minute, sorry, and then negative 3, 4. Then we could just connect these points. Okay. And then now let's do the final stage. Which is we're going to do x plus 1 squared. Now we're going to do the minus 3. So this is separate. Right? And so he's for real. We just really do the negative. Sorry, I was almost off the screen. So we just do the negative. And so this means that our y's are going to change. So we could copy and paste our x's. So we have 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. And now we subtract 3 from our y's. So 3 from 4, negative 2, negative 3, negative 2, and 1. And now we just graph those. So 1 and 1. Going to circle that guy because he's going to go there. 0, negative 2. Negative 1, negative 3, negative 2, negative 2, and then negative 3, 1. So this would be our final shift. So you can see we went from here, this was our original, and this was our final. Cool. Alright, that's the end of this video. You guys have a great day.